Have you ever noticed shapes or words that appear faintly on the pages of a book you're reading that are part of the paper itself rather than printed on it? Known as watermarks, these were first introduced by Fabriano papermakers in Italy in the late 13th century, less than a decade after the city became one of the first in Europe to begin producing paper. More than 750 years later, Fabriano paper continues to be made today. The traditional process of creating watermarks first starts with making paper. Western papermaking uses a mold and decal to form sheets by holding them together and dipping them into a vat of water and pulp, before shaking off the excess water and allowing the pulp to settle into an even layer. Watermarks are created by shaping wires and attaching them to the mold. The wires cause raised areas that allow for less pulp to settle, thereby making the paper thinner in those areas, resulting in a mark that can be seen when held up to the light without impacting any usable surface of the paper. The Montgolfier brothers began producing paper in the mid-16th century in Annonay, France. Descendants of the founders used the mill's paper to make and pilot a hot air balloon in 1782 that's said to be the first confirmed piloted ascent by humans. James Watman is credited with making the first wove paper in his mill at Turkey Hill in Kent, England in the mid-18th century. Unlike its predecessor, laid paper, wove paper was much smoother on the surface and therefore less absorbent, and its more uniform thickness also made it stronger. And in the United States, Conrad Counselor operated a mill in Baltimore, Maryland in the early 19th century, and later relocated to Mill Creek in Berkeley County, which is now West Virginia. Though companies like the four already mentioned use their names as watermarks, many others use common symbols such as grapes and pillars, the Paschal Lamb, a crown, and even Britannia herself. You can have a closer look at some of these watermarks and more items on display in the Special Collections Research Center's current exhibition, Pulp Fictions, on display now through September on the second floor of Mason's Fenwick Library.